Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Do we know for sure this music comes from Switzerland?
Do we know that?
I wanted you to play the Ricula ad. Craig Button is in Switzerland. That's why we're playing this music.
Yeah.
All of our guests today, including Craig Button in Switzerland, brought to you by the Bayside Oceanfront Resort. An exciting spring and summer season awaits at the Bayside, including a soon-to-be-completed outdoor pool fully equipped with ocean view cabanas alongside the number one ranked coffee shop in Parksville. Put on your lederhosen, get yourself a latte. The Bay Cafe just steps away. Call 250-248-8333 now to book your reservation and mention Donnie and Dolly for 10% off your nightly room rate. Also, be sure to grab some Donnie and Dolly merchandise now on sale at the Bayside. He's just finished off a block of cheese. Craig Button, TSN Scotty Director in Switzerland for the Under-18 Worlds. Have I got that right, Craig?
You have it exactly right, Donnie. And, it's asparagus season over here in Switzerland and Germany and Austria. So lots of asparagus soup was the first order of the menu on tonight's dinner. 8 o'clock at night here in Switzerland. I'm in Basel.
Oh, perfect. Any future Canucks there at that tournament?
The tournament only starts Thursday, and I'm going to bet that there will be some future Canucks that will come out of this tournament. Based on what I've seen and knowing the players, I think there's 17 for sure first-round picks that will be playing in this tournament from Finland, Sweden, Canada, USA, Czechia, Slovakia. So, you have to believe that, and top-end players, high-end players. So you have to believe that, and then you go into the second round and third round, so you have to believe that there will be certainly some players that the Canucks will eye and probably will select, and every NHL team will be represented here. There'll be over 200 NHL personnel here for this tournament. It's a big tournament.
I'll put you on the spot, although there is no such thing as putting Craig on the spot when it comes to prospects. Is there a name we should pay attention to, Craig, maybe more than any other?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you to pay attention to Macklin Celebrini, the Lower Mainland kid. He's a 16-year-old kid that led the USHL in scoring. He's headed to BU next year. Unbelievable player. I'm careful about how I use comparables. But when I watch Macklin play, all I see in his game is Jonathan Toews. That's the type of player I see him as. You're 16 years old in the USHL, leading the league in scoring. Him and Cole Eiserman, who play for the U.S., Eiserman, E-I-S-E-R-M-A-N, they're the two best players I've seen for the 2024 draft. They were teammates at Shattuck St. Mary's last year. They'll be going head-to-head. I think one of the really beautiful things here for Macklin, I don't know, you probably know what, maybe you don't, but Macklin's father is the sport performance coach for the Golden State Warriors. So, you have an opportunity to be touching the stars of Golden State, Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. It's pretty impressive. But, you think about, coming to a tournament like this, and these two young players, Cole Eiserman and Macklin Celebrini, I mean, they're going to be prominent players for their teams, not just young prominent players. They're going to be prominent, but terrific players that certainly get you excited for the 2024 draft. What I was going to say is Macklin plays for the Chicago Steel. They're still they're going to start the playoffs, but only at the end of this tournament. So they released Macklin to come over here and play for Team Canada and represent his country. I think that's phenomenal for Macklin to be able to have that opportunity, and speaks highly of the Chicago Steel and the USHL in doing that.
We'll get on the phone to Alvin and tell him to start tanking for Celebrini right immediately, right now. By the way,
celebrate for Celebrini. Celebrate last place.
All right, there you go. Of course, Rick Celebrini, a national team soccer player as well, Craig, and also not a bad beer league hockey player. Played for the 86ers as well. So the Kings, I hope you got to see some NHL action last night.
I watched. I got a good look at it.
So they come back with 4 goals in the third period and overtime to knock off Edmonton in Game 1. Does that say more about the Kings or more about the Oilers? Keeping in mind the Kings were without a couple of really good players in Fiala and Villarni.
You're right. And offensive players, too. They don't have the same firepower as the Edmonton Oilers, and then you take out 2 prominent goal scorers and you score 4 goals. I think that the power play, obviously getting 2 power play goals was significant for the LA Kings. And, when you look at the penalty kill for the Edmonton Oilers, especially the one in overtime, okay, we can question whether that should have been a penalty or whether it would merited being a penalty. It doesn't give you the excuse to go and kill a penalty in such a haphazard way. And the Oilers were terrible on that power play in overtime, and it cost them the game. Sometimes you need that little pinch between the shoulder blades to realize, hey, it is real. You're a good team, the Edmonton Oilers are, but so are the LA Kings. And, you get on a roll, and now the playoffs start. It's a different animal. And I think for the Edmonton Oilers, it was a eye-opening opportunity for them to get to realization. It's no playoff win is ever easy. They got to get regrouped, and I think they will for Wednesday. But, I thought maybe that they had an upper hand on LA. Maybe the series doesn't go as long as it did last year. But right now, the LA Kings are feeling pretty darn good about winning Game 1 in Edmonton.
Hey, Craig, Calgary, Brad Treliving is no longer there as GM. But I got a question for you, Craig. How tough is it going to be to find a GM who's going to be able to work with Daryl Sutter? Now, you're going to hire a GM, but the coach is already in place, Craig. And that just happened in Vancouver, and we know how that turned out.
Yeah, it never turns out well, Rick. I'm reminded of a story. Years ago, Sam Pollock, the great GM in Montreal, and Scotty Bowen was coaching. And Scotty had won in 73. I think he'd won in 76. So it's somewhere after they won some Stanley Cups, a lot of success. And Scotty, was pushing for some different types of players and trying to get involved more in the management side of things. He went up to meet Sam, and he's talking to Sam about this and that, and we need that player and this player. And he finished, and Sam said to him, he goes, okay. He goes, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to manage, and you're going to coach. Any more questions? And let me just Calgary has a problem right now because somebody has to go in there and tell Daryl Sutter he's the coach. End of story. And I don't think there's any question there was friction. I don't think there was any question that Brad Treliving. And you don't have to agree on everything, but you got to collaborate. And you got to work together. That was not happening in Calgary. And let me just tell you, you'll never have success if that's how you're going to operate. Never.
Yep. Yeah, big time. Craig, Patrick Alvin said no buyouts this summer, so how do you create cap space? Okay, so now they still got the bad contracts. You got to put a sweetener in. How do you do it?
Well, that's one way to do it. One of the things, and I think Patrick talked about this, if you're going to do buyouts, well, then now it's double the amount of years left on a contract. So, if you can buy out a player with only 1 year, well, now it's 2 years you got to deal with it. And how does that impact you going forward? Sometimes, the lesser of two evils is the best path to go on. And certainly, looking at a buyout and just go, okay, we get the cap space, but where could it potentially hurt you? Patrick talked about making hockey deals. I mean, one thing that the cap system does do, it forces you into some non-hockey deals. But I think what Patrick, he talked about sideways moves, and I think that's where GMs have to become a little bit creative. And maybe there is a path where you just say, hey, listen, we're going to take 25% of a contract. You look at the Arizona Coyotes, how they got out of the Oliver Ekman-Larsson contract. Right. I mean, I think they picked up 20, but they did. They picked up 20% of that contract, right? And now that made it appetizing for another team. But, they got out of it. And I think for the Vancouver Canucks, that might be one of the options, one of the creative ways for them to look at trying to create some cap space.
We're way behind. We're going to let you go here. Craig, get back to your asparagus soup, okay?
Well, it's gazpacho now, Donnie.
Oh, okay.
I did eat it while it was hot, so I'm all good.
Okay, all right. Craig,
thanks, you guys.
Tips on eating asparagus soup. We get it all from Craig Button. Thanks for this, Craig. I appreciate it.
Yeah, take care.